Imagine walking up to a vending machine. You insert your money, select your snack, and with just a few clicks, the machine dispenses your choice without any further interaction. This simple act of purchasing is remarkably similar to what a smart contract does in the digital realm. Now picture this. What if contracts could execute themselves in the same way, without the need for a middleman? This is the promise of smart contracts, a concept that sits at the intersection of technology and law. At its core, a smart contract is a self-executing agreement, where the terms are written into code and stored on a blockchain. This means the contract automatically enforces and executes itself when certain conditions are met. No lawyers, no notaries, just pure code. This automation offers a tantalizing prospect: efficiency and speed. Imagine businesses closing deals, transferring assets, or even executing payments in a fraction of the time it currently takes. However, while the benefits of smart contracts appear enticing, they come with complexities that warrant careful examination. The underlying technology relies on blockchain, a decentralized ledger that ensures transparency and security. This means that once a smart contract is deployed, its terms are immutable and visible to all participants involved. But what happens when the unexpected occurs? Unlike traditional contracts, which can be negotiated or amended when circumstances change, smart contracts are rigid. They follow their coded logic without the nuance of human judgment. Picture a scenario where a smart contract is set to pay a freelancer upon delivery of work. If the freelancer encounters unforeseen circumstances that delay their delivery, the contract will still execute as programmed, potentially causing financial distress. So while smart contracts automate processes and promise efficiency, they also raise important questions about adaptability and the role of human oversight. What if the very technology designed to eliminate trust issues in contracts could introduce new, unforeseen risks? As we explore further, we must ask ourselves, are we ready to embrace a world where contracts execute themselves, and what might we lose in the process? Imagine a scenario where a company has deployed a smart contract to manage the sale of digital artwork. The contract stipulates that once a buyer pays a certain amount of cryptocurrency, the artwork is automatically transferred to their digital wallet. Sounds efficient, right? But what happens if the seller, in a moment of oversight, uses vague language in the contract? Perhaps it states that the artwork is original, but fails to specify what original means in the context of digital art. When the buyer receives a piece that they believe isn't what they paid for, a dispute arises. The smart contract executes exactly as coded, but the ambiguity leaves both parties in a legal limbo. This is a vivid illustration of the legal ambiguities inherent in smart contracts. The rigidity of these automated agreements can lead to unforeseen legal issues, as they lack the nuance of human judgment. In traditional contracts, parties can negotiate terms, clarify ambiguities, and amend agreements when situations change. However, a smart contract, once deployed, is unyielding. The strange consequence here is that the very automation intended to simplify transactions can instead complicate them, as parties may find themselves at an impasse, unable to resolve the conflict without costly legal intervention. Consider the implications of this rigidity. If a smart contract encounters a situation it wasn't programmed to handle, who interprets the terms? The answer is often no one, because the contract cannot adapt. Instead of facilitating a resolution, it becomes a source of contention. This is compounded by the fact that legal language is inherently complex and sometimes ambiguous, which can lead to disputes that a smart contract cannot resolve on its own. A case study that exemplifies this issue involved a failed smart contract in the real estate sector. The contract had been designed to automate the process of transferring property ownership upon payment. However, the terms surrounding what constituted a successful transaction were poorly defined. When the buyer attempted to claim ownership, they discovered that the contract had executed under the wrong assumptions, leading to significant financial loss and a protracted legal battle. So, as we delve deeper into the world of smart contracts, we must ask ourselves, what changes when we rely on code to enforce agreements? The balance between efficiency and oversight is delicate, and the potential for legal ambiguities could lead to significant setbacks. Are we really ready to place our trust in a system that may not fully understand the complexities of human relationships and legal standards? Imagine you're cruising down the highway in a self-driving car. The technology promises a smooth journey, with sensors and algorithms that navigate the road without your intervention. But what if, just for a moment, there's a glitch in the software? A sudden detour is missed, and the car veers off course, leading to a crash. Now consider the implications of this malfunction. If a car can crash due to a software bug, what might happen to a financial contract executed through a smart contract? The strange consequence is that, like a self-driving car, smart contracts operate under the assumption that their coded logic is flawless. Yet, in the world of programming, even a tiny error can spiral into catastrophic failures. Coding errors in smart contracts can lead to irreversible financial losses. Picture a scenario where a smart contract is designed to manage a complex financial transaction, say a multi-million-dollar real estate deal. If there's a minor mistake, perhaps a misplaced decimal or a misinterpretation of a condition, the entire transaction could unravel. The funds could be locked away, lost in the digital ether, or worse, sent to the wrong party with no recourse to recover them. Unlike traditional contracts, which can be amended or renegotiated when faced with unforeseen issues, smart contracts are immutable once deployed. This rigidity poses a significant risk, as it does not account for the nuances of real-world scenarios. What if a party's circumstances change unexpectedly? A traditional contract may adapt through negotiation, while a smart contract remains inflexible, adhering strictly to its original code. Moreover, the automated nature of smart contracts means they execute transactions without human oversight. Imagine if your self-driving car decided to take a shortcut through a construction zone, ignoring warning signs and barriers because it is following its pre-programmed path. In the realm of finance, this lack of human judgment can result in outcomes that no one anticipated. Automated processes may not account for all real-world scenarios, leading to significant financial risks. The question remains, how do we safeguard ourselves against the potential pitfalls of this technology? As we embrace the efficiency of smart contracts, we must also confront the reality that the very design meant to uphold our agreements could introduce new vulnerabilities. What trade-offs are we willing to accept in pursuit of automation and efficiency? And ultimately, who bears the cost when things go wrong? Understanding these potential failures is crucial as we navigate this brave new world of digital agreements. Imagine you're in a negotiation room, seated across from a business partner. You're discussing the terms of a contract that outlines a pivotal partnership. As the conversation unfolds, circumstances shift. Perhaps a new market opportunity arises or regulations change. In this moment, you and your partner can adapt the terms of your agreement on the fly, adjusting timelines, deliverables, or payment structures to reflect the evolving landscape. This fluidity is one of the hallmarks of traditional contracts, allowing for negotiation and amendments that reflect the real world. Now, contrast this with a smart contract, a rigid entity coded into existence on a blockchain. Once deployed, it operates under a set of predetermined rules, executing actions automatically without room for negotiation. If conditions change, such as new laws or unforeseen market dynamics, the smart contract remains unyielding. What if you suddenly need to alter a delivery date or adjust payment terms? In the realm of smart contracts, such changes are impossible without deploying an entirely new contract, a cumbersome and often costly process. The strange consequence is that, while smart contracts promise efficiency through automation, they can also lock parties into outdated agreements that no longer serve their best interests. Imagine feeling trapped by a contract that cannot evolve alongside your business needs. The potential for loss in these scenarios is significant. Who benefits from this inflexibility? Perhaps those who favor automated systems over human negotiation. But at what cost? The trade-offs become apparent when we consider the nuances of human relationships and the unpredictable nature of business. Can we truly rely on an unyielding system to govern agreements that are inherently dynamic? As we continue to explore the implications of smart contracts, we must grapple with this central question. How do we reconcile the need for flexibility in our agreements with the desire for automation? In the end, what we may find is that while technology can streamline certain processes, it cannot replicate the essential human capacity for adaptation and understanding in contractual relationships. What if a machine misinterprets a critical clause in a contract? Imagine a situation where two parties enter into a smart contract to facilitate a real estate transaction. The contract states that the buyer will pay a deposit of $50,000, but the machine misreads a clause about what constitutes payment. Instead of recognizing the payment as a cash transfer, it interprets it as an asset exchange that does not occur, locking the buyer out of the transaction and preventing the deal from going forward. Who resolves this conflict? In this scenario, the absence of human oversight leads to a stalemate that a mediator might have otherwise navigated with ease. This situation illustrates one of the inherent weaknesses of smart contracts. They lack the flexibility and interpretive nuance that human judgment brings to complex contractual relationships. Now, suppose we look at a real-world example where human mediation played a crucial role. Consider a small business that entered into an agreement with a supplier. When the supplier failed to deliver goods on time, the business faced a significant operational setback. Instead of relying on a rigid smart contract, both parties turned to a mediator. This individual was able to listen to both sides, understand the nuances of their business needs, and negotiate a solution that involved partial refunds and expedited deliveries. The flexibility of human judgment in this scenario not only resolved the immediate issue, but also preserved the long-term relationship between the business and the supplier. This raises an important question: how do we weigh the benefits of automation against the need for human oversight? While smart contracts can streamline processes and reduce costs, they cannot adapt and interpret the complexities of human relationships in the same way a mediator can. Human oversight can prevent misunderstandings that arise from misinterpretations or unforeseen circumstances. When conflicts occur, human mediators can offer tailored solutions that consider the unique context of each situation, something a rigidly coded smart contract simply cannot do. The strange consequence is that while we seek efficiency through technology, we may inadvertently introduce new risks that can lead to greater disruptions. As we navigate this landscape of digital agreements, we must ask ourselves, what changes if we take the importance of human involvement seriously? Who benefits from automation, and who might be left vulnerable when nuances are overlooked? These are critical questions as we explore the balance between efficiency and the indispensable role of human judgment in contractual agreements. Imagine a bustling city where new laws are introduced overnight, reshaping the landscape of business operations. Now, picture two companies that have entered into contracts to collaborate on a project. One company has opted for a traditional contract, while the other has chosen a smart contract, believing in the allure of automation. As the new regulations roll out, the company with the traditional contract can swiftly amend the agreement to align with these changes. They gather around a conference table, discussing the implications of the new law, adjusting timelines, and redefining deliverables to ensure compliance. This adaptability becomes their competitive advantage, allowing them to navigate the evolving landscape without skipping a beat. In contrast, the company relying on the smart contract finds itself in a bind. The rigid nature of the smart contract limits their ability to respond to the new regulatory environment. They are locked into the terms coded months ago, unable to adjust for the unforeseen circumstances that have emerged. What happens when the landscape shifts? The strange consequence is that while the smart contract may have promised efficiency, it now feels more like a straitjacket, constraining innovation and adaptability. This scenario raises an essential question: how do traditional contracts maintain their relevance in an era increasingly dominated by technology? Traditional contract systems thrive on their inherent flexibility. They can evolve alongside legal standards, accommodating changes that smart contracts with their fixed code simply cannot. Consider a hypothetical amendment to a traditional contract, incorporating a new environmental regulation that mandates significant changes in production processes. The parties involved can easily negotiate terms, ensuring that both sides benefit from the updates. They might alter payment structures to reflect new costs, or adjust deadlines to accommodate the necessary changes in production. This fluidity fosters collaboration and trust, reinforcing relationships in ways that rigid automated systems often neglect. As we contemplate the advantages of traditional contracts, we must ask ourselves, what trade-offs do we face when we prioritize automation over adaptability? Who benefits from the unwavering rigidity of smart contracts, and who gets left behind? Traditional contracts remind us that the ability to amend and adapt is not just an administrative convenience, it is a fundamental aspect of thriving in a complex, ever-changing world. In the dance of business and law, the flexibility of traditional contracts often proves to be the rhythm that keeps the partnership alive, while smart contracts may stumble over their own set rules. Let's reflect on the intricate balance between efficiency and the need for human oversight in our contractual relationships. Imagine a world where the efficiency of technology meets the nuanced judgment of human experience. What if we could harness the best of both worlds in contract management? As we stand on the precipice of a hybrid future, a landscape emerges where smart contracts automate routine tasks, while skilled professionals navigate the complexities of human negotiation. Picture this, a bustling marketplace of ideas where transactions flow seamlessly thanks to the precision of smart contracts. Yet when the stakes rise, when emotions flare, or when unpredictable challenges arise, human negotiators step in, wielding their experience and empathy. In this envisioned future, smart contracts could handle straightforward agreements, like the purchase of a coffee or the rental of a bike, executing transactions instantly and without friction. However, for more intricate dealings, such as mergers, joint ventures, or international collaborations, the human touch becomes indispensable. The strange consequence is a dynamic interplay between efficiency and oversight, where technology handles the mundane, allowing humans to focus on what truly matters: understanding, adapting, and negotiating. But how do we ensure that this collaboration remains balanced? The potential for a hybrid approach lies not only in optimizing efficiency, but also in maintaining a critical eye on oversight. If we allow smart contracts to take the lead in routine matters, what happens when the unexpected occurs? What safeguards do we need to implement? This balance will require a deep understanding of both systems, recognizing when to trust the automated processes and when to rely on human judgment. At its core, this hybrid model invites us to reflect on the very nature of trust in contractual agreements. Trust, once a bedrock of human interaction, now dances in the shadows of code and algorithms. As we forge ahead, we must ask ourselves, who benefits from this technological shift and who might be left vulnerable? The implications of this hybrid future extend far beyond mere efficiency. They touch upon the essence of our relationships and the intricate dance of negotiation. In this brave new world, we must not lose sight of the human element, for it is this very element that brings depth, understanding, and adaptability to our agreements. As we contemplate this hybrid future, let us consider how we can design systems that not only leverage technological advancements, but also preserve the invaluable contributions of human insight and empathy. What if we could peer into the past, examining the wreckage left behind by early smart contract adopters? Imagine a bustling digital marketplace where transactions are meant to flow seamlessly, each backed by the promise of automation and precision. Yet, lurking beneath this veneer of efficiency are cautionary tales, stories of contracts that failed spectacularly, leaving financial and reputational devastation in their wake. One such tale involves a decentralized finance platform that, in its haste to innovate, overlooked a crucial detail in its smart contract code. Instead of executing trades as intended, a simple typo caused millions of dollars to be locked away, inaccessible to users for weeks. The trust that was supposed to be secured by technology crumbled as users lost faith, highlighting a stark reality. The very systems designed to eliminate trust issues can introduce new, unforeseen risks. As we reflect on these failures, we must ask ourselves, what can we learn from the mistakes of early adopters? This is not merely an academic exercise, it is a roadmap for the future of contract design. Analyzing failures can reveal critical insights that improve future implementations. For instance, we must recognize the importance of incorporating robust testing protocols and creating a culture of caution around coding practices. Every line of code is a potential liability, and as we automate more aspects of our lives, we must be acutely aware of the pitfalls that can arise from overconfidence in technology. Awareness of these dangers goes hand in hand with a deeper understanding of the limitations of smart contracts. Unlike traditional contracts, which can adapt to changing circumstances through negotiation and human intervention, smart contracts operate within rigid parameters. When conditions shift, as they inevitably do, the inflexibility of these automated agreements can lead to disastrous outcomes. Picture a scenario where regulatory changes render a smart contract obsolete, yet the code remains unyielding, trapping parties in outdated terms. So what changes if we take these lessons seriously? The strange consequence is that we may need to rethink our approach to contract design itself. Could we integrate more human oversight into the smart contract framework, creating hybrid models that harness the strengths of both systems? Or will we continue to forge ahead, blinded by the allure of automation, risking another wave of failures that could undermine the very foundations of trust we seek to build. As we stand on the precipice of this new era, let us carry forward the lessons learned, ensuring that our future systems are not just efficient, but also resilient and adaptable.